Hi everyone, I'm a singer and TV personality Kana. I make music, compose and write lyrics, and I host a children's singing contest on TV. I was bullied at school. It was really horrible. I still remember it. Even now, I sometimes feel scared if I see my bullies somewhere. The bullying started pretty early. The first year, I wasn't really bullied, but I was sometimes excluded. In a way, I had to buy friends. I had a big jar of cool coloured paper clips. I always gave the cool girls some of the clips so that they would hang out with me. They spent the playtime with me, but once the jar was empty, they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. The first and second year went kind of okay, but when I went to the third year, I switched to a music school. In that school, all the kids already knew each other and had formed their own cliques. I didn't know anyone. My family was pretty poor. For example, we didn't have a car. I didn't even have a bike, and I definitely didn't have any cool clothes. The kids at school came from wealthy families. Many of my classmates took dance lessons given by the mum of one of the popular girls. I was not good at sports. Actually, I didn't even like sports apart from horseback riding. But of course, you can't do that at school. I fell somewhere in between everyone and just couldn't make any friends. I still don't quite know how it happened. Then our class started to divide into two groups. There were the popular kids and those who the popular kids considered poor, stupid, ugly or smelly. I liked studying and wanted to get good grades. I felt I wasn't ugly or smelly, but nobody wanted to hang out with me. The unpopular kids considered me arrogant because of my good grades, and the popular kids, they just didn't want to hang out with me either. It all sounds so complicated. It was not a nice time. Of course, I wanted to get into the popular kids group, so I tried to flatter them, and I always asked them to do things with me. Occasionally, they did take me in, but if we, for example, jumped rope, I never got to be the one to decide the technique. I always had to be the first to turn the rope, and it always took a long time until it was my turn to jump. As I said, I was bad at sports. In sports, I was always among the last ones to be picked. "Not her," they'd say. That was not nice. Being discriminated against felt really bad. Maybe some people didn't even understand that by ignoring me, they were actually bullying me. It made me feel very anxious. Often, it was horrible to go to school because I knew that nobody would hang out with me or pay any attention to me. After a few years in the music school, people started calling me names. They called me fat and ugly and shouted things at me in the hallway. Whenever I had drawn something, boys who were good drawers laughed at it and said it was ugly. Some boys thought it was hilarious to take my stuff. If I needed a pen, they took it off my desk, or they took my pencil case. At some point, they put rubbish in my school bag. When I opened my bag at home, there was rubbish bag in there. That was a nasty experience. At school, students often hung out sitting on both sides of the hallway. The hallways were pretty narrow, so you had to jump over people's legs. I always felt scared because someone often tripped me, or if I wore a skirt, they'd lift my skirt and things like that. To avoid that, I started to wait until everyone had gone into their classrooms. If my bullies had thought that it's okay that I'm not exactly like them, and that it's okay that I didn't have cool clothes, then they could have seen that I was someone they could have hung out with. Then the whole class could have been more harmonious and everyone would have felt better. even the popular kids.